South Africa, my next objective. I'd arrived in Windhoek a few days ago, and now I was on a 17-hour luxury bus to Cape Town. Located in the Western Cape, it was first developed by the Dutch as a resupply station. It is famous for its harbor, beaches, surfing, and landmarks such as Table Mountain, Cape Point, Lion's Head, and Signal Hill, a city with a national park in its center. And once I had seen Table Mountain, I was determined to hike to the top. Who needs a cable car? There are multiple routes to the top. One on the side facing the city and many on the backside. I picked the backside since it is less steep. That Boy Scout needs some lessons. The trail was easy to follow.
Choices, choices, choices. What is diagonal?
Water break. I dropped my water bottle.
Oh well, the first time was just for practice. I'll go down, get it, and come back a second time.
The top is still a ways to go.
It's not the top yet. I see the top over there. The trail leads over there.
We're not there yet. Another false summit. One more ledge to go. At the top.
But it would help if I had a map and knew what that trail marker meant. Ladders. I see them.
The top is a bit more confusing because there are multiple trails. As I approached the top of the gondola station, I came across the path that comes up the side facing the city. The view from the top here is spectacular. Now, how do I get down? We've left South Africa's Cape Town for Tsitsikamma National Park, but first I want to visit the southernmost tip of Africa and stand at the junction of the Indian and Atlantic Oceans, and then we continued along the garden route to the east. The national park is a coastal reserve, well known for its indigenous forests, dramatic coastline, otter trail, and the Blue Dikier Trail. The beaches here are misty and peculiar, as are the animals. The options are self-camping and cute bungalows. Even though it was a rainy day, I decided to set out for the local waterfalls.
Well, at least I'm out of the rain for a moment.
The trail hugged the shore.
It's raining out there. I have to make a run for it.
Wow, a cave. All boys raised on Batman comics love caves, especially big ones. I think I've gone far enough. This had better be an interesting waterfalls. Ta-da! Today's episode takes place in South Africa's Coffee Bay. The town of 258 people was named after the hundreds of coffee trees which grew from beans scattered by shipwrecks. Today's trek is to visit the hole in the wall. Not a building, it's a geological site. And yes, it is a huge hole in a wall. I set out from the creatively named Coffee Shack Backpackers. There was no specific trail to follow. I was told, just head west along the coast and at some point you'll find it around the bend. There's no shortage of waterfalls along this wet and rocky coastline. A dead end. Time for a new shortcut. In the distance, I spotted my objective. I wonder why the birds are so flustered. Wow, a hole in the wall. I get it. Another Coffee Bay outing. Today we are off to Mapuzi, advertised as a spot with caves and jumping cliffs. What a strange name. What was it called again?
We're going to...
We didn't have a map. We were told to head east along the coast and ask directions along the way.
You can do the asking since you're the guy.
So wait a minute, did I just see that correctly? She's telling you what to do?
Is that on tape?
Yeah. Well, now he's going to have to defend his manhood.
Yeah.
Now film this.
These don't seem to be the Dutch cows, no.
Okay.
They seem to be the real proper Transkei cows.
The Dutch are quite focused on cows.
Een bakje.
Ja. Maar het was ook die weg was net zoals het begin van deze. This is Taria on the roof. They do it to keep away the evil spirits and to fend it off in the house.
I'm not asking directions. I'm a guy and that name is way too dumb.
You're gonna go and see the tape. The arrow is going there.
Heel kop. See you later, man.
Arrow? What arrow?
Look for the sign. We can climb up there and see if we can find anything different.
The kids volunteer to climb to higher ground in hopes of seeing something that looks like Mapuzi. That boy is determined to find Mapuzi. But the coast looks the same in all directions. So they decide to go for a swim and jump off the rocks anyway. That deserves a reward.
Hey, I have brought a nutritious hiking lunch.
After lunch, they decide to check out the waves. Crazy. In this episode, we are in South Africa's Drakensburg Mountain range, where we meet up with Hank and Liz from New York.
Where are we?
I have no clue. We're at the Bushman paintings.
Where are we?
At the Royal Natal National Park.
Obviously, our objective is to see some Bushman rock paintings. And we have a guide to show us the paintings and fill us in on the local facts.
We don't have a big five animals, but we've got our own exclusive big five waterfalls. Tugela Falls, which is the second highest waterfalls in the world. And it's got some small wild animals like meerkats, caracals, otters, dassies, porcupines, jackals, bush pigs, and a lot of baboons. These 3 layers, we call it is a sedimentary rock.
I thought ochre was orange.
It might be yellow, red, white or grey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the Bushmen, they crush it into a fine powder and they'll draw their paintings in the sandstone. The rock and amphitheater is a basalt rock from volcanic, and this is what we call it a Bushman paintings. Their good name to call is Sun people because they were nomadic people, always moving place to place without owning land. Men were skinny and thin in shape, and they called themselves hunters because they always found in the mountains for hunting. And the women, they were gatherers and they were fat because they were staying at home for food collections like roots, berries and nuts, and they eat a lot and they end up with the big hips and the big bums. They use an ostrich eggshell as their container where they're gonna mix their paint into, and they cut it on top. And they were adding in plant juice, animal fat, and an egg yolk for the paintings to be well preserved. Red paint. White ochre plus an animal urine, we of an animal, brown paint. And all these paintings, it is dated that it is about 800 years old. 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the 4 running hunters after these 2 running animals. These are the baboons, the most animals that you have in this park. Here's a man with a spear in his hand like this is hunting. Why I'm saying is a man?
Because he doesn't have a big bum?
Very good. Skinny. 2 mountain pushbacks. The female's one without horns. Here's a leopard with a long tail. Slowly to catch a buck. Unfortunately, a man with a spear behind him. What kind of an animal is this?
A snake?
Yes, what kind of a snake?
A cobra?
Very good. But to paralyze or to catch an animal like an eland, they use a poison of a black widow spider. These drawings is not a mistake. This is the shaman experience because the shaman is the one that have drawn the paintings. These are the hallucinations from the trance imaginations. 35 rock art sat here in this park, but they are kept secret because of vandalizing. Only this one is open for public visiting.
In our last episode, the guide mentioned the Tugela Falls. Tugela means sudden in Zulu. The falls are located in the Drakensburg Mountains, or Dragons Mountains, in South Africa. So we decided to follow the Tugela River upstream to the falls. Our route was a clearly marked trail. The falls are generally accepted as the second tallest in the world after Venezuela's Angel Falls. 2/3 of the way to the falls, the landscape changes from forest to narrow ravine. Let the bouldering stage begin. The combined total drop of the falls is 948 meters, or 1,110 feet. The source of the falls is the plateau at the top. Fast forward the ladders, please. As with all ravines, there is a lot of up and down and twists and turns. Wow, that is spectacular. I wonder how we could get to the top though. In the last episode, we were at the foot of the Tagula Falls and were wondering how to get to the top. The answer is via Sentinel Peak.
We're going to the peak, and apparently there's a waterfall there as well.
Yes, you signed
I signed for the 3.
Please sign.
Yeah.
Emergency 084124.
The spectacular hiking trail to the top starts at the Sentinel Car Park on the back side of the amphitheater at 2,500 meters or 8,200 feet above sea level. The top is at 3,254 meters or over 11,000 feet. The hike will require a gain of just over 750 meters, almost 2,500 feet. A fresh rock slide made me wonder how smart was it to hike along the rock face. We had been warned that the route had steep sections that required climbing up chain ladders, really long, high chain ladders. It's Liz's turn. That girl can move. Near the top, we take a break at a small unnamed falls. At the top, the kids put rocks on the current and celebrate. But we are not done yet. The top is a vast, flat expanse with a marsh that runs in 2 directions. One to the small falls on the west face, and the other to our objective, Tagula, on the east face.
You want to cool your drinks? Is this really?
Kids will be kids. And finally we make it to the falls, and the kids are crazy. It's a long drop. Our objective today is Cathedral Peak. It is a
Got the
3,004
plan?
meter or 9,856 feet high
Got the endurance?
freestanding mountain in the Drakensburg. We set out from the car park at the Cathedral Peak Hotel, a luxury resort that will make a fine place to return to at the end of the day. Liz and Hank have been arguing about this trek.
We should do a rest day.
This is what I call a rest day.
We start the day with conflict.
We are the base of Cathedral Peak, which I think is that one.
What's with the boomerang?
The boomerang is to scare the snakes.
And then somebody killed him. So you're on your way to where?
Salvation. Out there and find the meaning of life.
I brought a book. I'm gonna find a nice place to chill. Get this view.
You mean you're gonna quit?
No!
Snake charmer in the lead. Okay, I'm confused. Are we walking or riding?
Liz is slowing down.
I think this might be the end of the line.
I'm gonna chill here.
Okay.
It's straight up from there. Not gonna be so hot. I think I'm gonna head down. Yesterday was 600 meters up.
Couldn't you tell us that before we fed her the banana bread? You're both quitting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be fine if you wanna go home.
Nah. I spent the whole night talking her into this. I'm not gonna leave her alone on a mountain. Actually, I just want an excuse. My feet are killing me. I'm done with this day. I live to climb another mountain, right?
Okay.
Also, I saw a swimming pool, and she promised me to go skinny dipping. It's also in the equation.
Never promised anything.
Well, I'll see you guys at the end of the day then.
Yeah.
You're gonna go?
Yeah, of course.
That's it?
Okay, so now I'm on my own.
That's our objective. I've made it up to the next flat level. I guess that was the first plateau. I am now on the second plateau. I see the trail behind me. It's over there. Follows the ridge line. I'm not sure how far I need to go. It certainly is beautiful out here though. I'm a little confused. I assume I'm going to take the ridgeline trail because you should always take the high road because never give back altitude. So I'm thinking it goes up there. Look at the landscape. It's just wicked. The ridgeline trail is done. I'm at the foot of the wall and I have to make my way up to the gap up there. I'm hoping that I'm halfway there, but I'm always over optimistic. So let's assume I'm 1/3 of the way there to the foot of Cathedral. Doesn't look so big from here, does it? Time to refill that bottle using the old native grass trick. It doesn't look like it came up so high, but it sure felt like it. So it would seem my next objective is right there, that gap. You see it? That is apparently where I'm going. Rocks and scree and rubble and dirt, and not many options.
A little more to the saddle.
I made it to the top, but there's nowhere to go except down the other side.
So now my only option is up the rock face.
There's a lot of rock work in this trail. It's very tough. Yeah, right here. I can't go any further. I came across that. Shit.
I managed to make my way up another thin ledge, but to go higher, I would require climbing gear.
It's just up. And then there's this. This tells me I have reached a rock face that needs to be climbed with equipment.
I was clearly not prepared for this route.
And now I have to work my way back. We have reached the wall. The end.
Can't go any further. It's down and down.
I am totally whooped. I am so glad I'm going away tomorrow.
You need a rest day.
I need a rest week.
We continue our adventures in South Africa, but this time north of Drakensburg to St. Lucia, located in the Greater St. Lucia Wetlands Park. After the local entertainment, we jumped onto a slow boat to spot the river wildlife. The river and the town are known for the hippos that roam freely in the area. Hippos are one of Africa's most dangerous animals. The hippo is responsible for more human fatalities in Africa than any other large animal. Incidentally, the second most dangerous animal in Africa is the malaria-spreading mosquito. Talk about extremes in size. Hippos can run at speeds over 20 miles an hour, and they have enormous jaws which host up to 20-inch canines.
What is that?
There are around 800 hippos in the park. The hippo's closest living relative is the whale. Hippos consume over 100 pounds of vegetation per day. Hippos can kill crocodiles. Only 6 of the 23 crocodile species are considered dangerous to humans. One of the species with the most well-known and documented reputation for preying on humans is the Nile crocodile. Hippos are extremely territorial. Small boats beware. The wetlands are also known for birds. Over 100 different species can be spotted in a good day. After the boat ride, we decide to visit the local croc camp for a closer look at these ancient monsters. And as the sun sets, the summer evening storms move in. After St. Lucia, we head west to the Haluluwe Camp Reserve to spot some different game. The white rhino, or square-lipped rhino, is the largest species of rhino that exists. It has a wide mouth used for grazing and is the most social of the species. The name originates from a mistranslation of Dutch to English. The Dutch word wit, which means wide, the word wide refers to the width of the rhino's mouth. So the early English speakers of South Africa misinterpreted the word wit. So the rhino with the wide mouth ended up being called the white rhino.
Drive 101.
The giraffe is a large mammal that lives on the African savanna. It is also a walking restaurant to the tick bird, The bird eats the ticks, and the host is relieved of the blood-sucking, disease-carrying parasites. Time to check out our rondeval. A rondeval, an Afrikaans word, is a westernized version of an African-style hut.
All the comforts of home and more.
Another day of driving and game spotting. The African buffalo, or Cape buffalo, is a large African bovine, i.e. a grass eater. Due to its unpredictable nature, which makes it highly dangerous to humans, it has never been domesticated. That night, as we drove back to the rondeval, we were stopped by a large bull elephant crossing the road. Why? To get to the other side, obviously. The next day, we decided to visit one of the many hides. Who is hiding from who? This is a rhino rubbing stone. The repeated rubbing over time causes the stone to become polished. Another lazy elephant. I wonder if this is the guy from last night. The warthog's name comes from the 4 large wart-like humps found on its head. Today we entered Makuzu Game Reserve for a private game drive. Located in northern Zululand, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. The park contains the African elephant, wild dog, black wildebeest, buffalo, hyena, hippo, giraffe, kudu, warthog, lion, Nile crocodile, seenbok, black and white rhinos, and zebras, all packed into a compact 130 square kilometer range. But to walk in the park, you need to hire a guide and an armed ranger, which we did.
The white rhino, it's a 4-2, but the black rhino, it's a 3.
3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Even in our people, we using the bark of this tree to make a cough remedy.
Hey, it's the Fruit Loops bird. And this tree is called a fever tree because it provides a remedy for fevers.
Yeah, say the name again.
Roller.
Okay.
If you're scared of snakes, you can use the root of the tree. Just cut a piece and put it in the house.
Voila, snake repellent. All these animals seem to avoid our armed escort. These are smart animals. So a private car is absolutely necessary if you want to visit the diverse areas of the park. The hides provide a good place to view birds and the wildlife that come down to the water to drink. Sometimes the hides don't work. Here something big has put its head through the fence. The reserve has a diversity of natural habitats, which include the acacia savanna, mixed woodland, sand forests, rivers, and pans, grasslands, cliffs, and rocky ridges. It seems wildebeest and zebras like to hang out together, while the giraffe are less social. So how does a giraffe scratch an itch? And unfortunately, we run out of time and have to leave the park. After 6 months that have included Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, and Namibia, sadly, I must bid farewell to South Africa.